Hello. In this second recording, it's assumed that you've already logged into the VDI and know how to get to RStudio. The goal of this second video is to show you how to get the first steps of the first lab done. So our first step is to open RStudio. As a reminder, we go to the Start menu, go to All Programs, scroll down to RStudio, and click RStudio. And we open RStudio and we can see our environment. So I'm going to make my window full screen and just shrink that for a moment. Now within the VDI environment, I'm going to download the documentation for the lab. So I'm logged into Chrome within my this is still in the VDI. I'm going to go to Blackboard, log in, select my class, and so here's our class menu. I might have a few extra things that you guys don't need to see, but we're going to go to the learning modules, and module 1, and we're going to download the documentation for the first lab. So now that I've done that, so there's a reason I'm doing it this way. So we go, I want to open that up. Documentation that I just downloaded. I go to my download folder and you'll see the Word document. So this is how you are going to hand in labs. You're going to put your name followed by DAT 510 Lab 1 DocX. Basically, you answer all the questions that are in yellow. This documentation is fairly robust. So for this first lab, it will tell you how to log into the VDI if you haven't already and open RStudio. So we're going to go right to the creating the Hello World program, step 2 here. So we're going to go back to RStudio, go to File, New File, and RScript. Now the reason I'm doing it this way, by keeping the Word documentation open, is that it says write the script. So what I can actually do is just copy what's in the little box, go back to my R environment, paste it, and so what this will do is create a function called hello, and it's going to look for a field called name. So we go back to the documentation, save this script. So to save the script, we just hit the little save icon. Go back to RStudio. If this window pops up, just use the system default. And I am going to save it to a folder that I have on my desktop. So I have a DAT 510 folder already on my desktop. And I'm going to call this file hello R. You can see that I've already done this before, but you should call it hello.r and click save. Now, we've saved our first function. So what we're going to do now in the RStudio is load our first function. So we go to following along in the documentation. Usually I have this documentation off in the side window or something so I can just follow along. But for the sake of this video, we go screen to screen. So it says go to code and then source file. So over in our RStudio window, we go to Code, Source File. Before I do this, I want to point out, notice in your global environment is empty. Code, Source File. We're going to look for our function that we just created. I saved it to my desktop. Go to my DAT510 folder. And there's my hello R. Double click it. Now, if you look in our global environment window on your right hand side here, you will see function, hello, function name. This means I've loaded my function. Now, following along in the directions, in the console window, at the prompt, enter hello, your name. So let's go back to RStudio. So in our console window, just ignore this from before. Oh, this is actually the code that loaded this function up. So now I have this function. This means I can use this function in my console window. The console window is below the scripting window. So if I write hello, my name, so you can see if I were to write hello Chris, I'm sure everybody got a good chuckle out of that, but that's alright. This is how we learn. So if you need to write your name, you need to write hello Chris, and the reason for that is I do have it in the double quotes. So that's on me. But you can see your first function is just a simple hello world function. And from there, you'll just follow along in the documentation, and you'll make another function. Just modify this hello function, call it asking how your day is going, things like that. And that is how you run the first lab. And we will be on to the second lab. Congratulations.